Hi and welcome everyone to our Thursday night Empowering Healthy Women little 30-minute Zoom in time for ourselves. This is JoJo Bennington and just so excited to have all you guys on, and we have such a good topic coming up. So I'm excited to be able to share my lovely friend with you. But first, so why are we doing this? A couple of weeks ago, my friend and business partner, Lydia Flom, and I were talking about how it would be great to have a community of women to get together once a week, take some time to fill our own cups, talk about topics that matter to us, and not have to drag the guys in to listen to us talk about periods and menopause and stuff that they could really care less about. And to really have conversations that are going to make a difference in our health, whether it's mental health, physical health, things that to educate us to be able to have information to really make good decisions in our life. And so you guys know, we are, I'm going to record this. I will have it in speaker mode. So what will happen is you will see the main person speaking when it records back. But if you guys have any trouble with your phone number being seen during the meeting or your face on the recording, then you can shut your video off. Totally up to you. I just had somebody reach out and send me that we should probably make that offer and let people know that they can do that. You can either change your name on the screen by right-clicking on your screen and renaming your box if you would like to not be in the recording. Otherwise, you're going to have your pretty little face in our recording, because we definitely want these to go out so people can benefit from them. And so with that, I think that's all of our little housekeeping. We are going 30 minutes. So at 6 o'clock, questions on the board, things need to be talked about. Don't feel sad if we go time's up and we cut everybody. I promise that we will pick up where we left off next week. But we are going to keep this at 30 minutes. So everyone knows that on a regular basis, 30 minutes is it, and they don't have to feel bad if they have to bail out early. We don't want it to go over. So that is going to be our goal. So I am thrilled to be able to share my amazing friend Cheri-Lynn Burk with you. And we met, oh my gosh, can't even remember how long ago we met, but we met through the company that I work with, and she's been in health and wellness for like 40 years and has just done all kinds of different things in all different realms. And on accident, sort of which we'll say on accident. A lot of times, obviously it's not accident, but we get led down a path where we can't even begin to see where the outcome's going to be. And that's how really going through the health industry and being involved in learning about how to make the body healthy, she sort of fell into being a certified clinical thermographer. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Okay. And so what she does is she actually looks inside your body with a medical grade camera that can read the thermal imaging inside of your body. So it's a little bit of a different way to get yourself tested. And this is what I've chosen for myself for the past couple of years, instead of going to have standard mammograms. This is what I've been doing. So I've been going to Cheri-Lynn. So I had actually invited her to be on, and then someone reached out to me and said, hey, do you think we could talk about this? And I said, well, here's your sign. If I'm already thinking about it and somebody's asking me about it and I've already asked Cheri-Lynn, I guess it's time. So Cheri-Lynn, thank you so much for last minute yesterday saying that you would hop on and help us understand what's going on around here. And I just appreciate you so much, and just love your attitude and your outlook, and you're so knowledgeable. So just thank you for being on and sharing a little time with us tonight. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. I feel extremely honored. Yes, JoJo and I have known each other for a very long time and bump into each other all the time. And have a kindred spirit together, I guess. So, thermography. I know I can see a few of us. With a show of hands, has anybody ever heard of thermography besides JoJo? Okay, so we've all heard of mammograms. And thermography is best known as an alternative to a breast scan or a mammogram. It's an option, and so many people don't know about it. I scan men and women and children, but I would say my main focus is women, always has been. Thermography is FDA approved. It has been since 1982. Most doctors have no clue about it because their gold standard is mammograms. Basically, I'm gonna read you something I wrote about the difference of a thermography versus a mammogram, and what the difference is, kind of in lay people's terms. Both tests look for cancer, but in completely different ways. Mammogram looks for changes in the tissue and the density of the breast, while thermography looks for temperature changes, which occur as a growing cancer or any pathology, any inflammation, alters the blood supply to whatever area to the breast. So in other words, mammography sees mass, thermography sees inflammation, and all pathology starts with inflammation. So I know all you women understand what inflammation is. If you bump yourself and you swell up, you're inflamed. If you have arthritis, you're inflamed. If you work out, you're inflamed. If you eat, you're inflamed. We're constantly causing inflammation, but our immune system, if we're healthy and conscious, takes care of it. Well, what thermography does, and it's such a gift, is it lets you see yourself from the inside out. So I wish I had some pictures that I could show you, but you can go to the site, or you can even Google thermography and see what I'm talking about. But you literally can see inflammation, blood flow, which makes it a real, an actual fun tool for me, because it helps women in so many different ways, and men. I'm not going to say it doesn't help men, because it helps men. What we get to see is thyroid. We see carotid arteries. We see the immune function. I don't read them. A medical doctor reads the report, and then the medical doctor sends it back to me. I send it to you. So it's basically a way for you to take your health into your own hands. I'm trying to think what I can tell you to make it so that it's a solid science. Oh, I know, JoJo, we'll talk about Hippocrates.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
Hippocrates, and you ladies I know have heard of Hippocrates, the father of medicine. Well, what he did back thousands of years ago, hundreds and thousands of years ago, how he tested to see what was going on in your body is he would lay you down in mud, and he'd smear your body with mud, and where you dried first was where pathology was. So it's been around for a very, very long time. Like JoJo said, I've been doing it for almost 9 years. And for me, what this beauty is, sharing it with you ladies, especially since you have never heard of it, is for you to know that you have a choice. There is no radiation. There is no compression. It is a picture. So you stand in front of the camera, and I tell you how to turn, and I take your pictures. The other wonderful thing is that you leave, and not just my office, and some of you aren't in Vegas, I'm sure, but there's thermography all over the United States, all over Europe. I mean, it's quite a large science, probably more so in Europe than it is in the States, but it's catching on fast now. But you know that if somebody is being able to see themselves from the inside out, you can really see what's going on, and you can see it either progressing or reducing. So it's a science that, I mean, if I possibly could stand on rooftops and shout it out, I would, because the benefits are so beautiful. It's non-invasive, so we can, an infant could be scanned to see what's going on.
So, and without sort of giving all my goodies away, I'm going to show you guys mine.
Oh, great. I'm so glad I brought nothing home. Okay.
And so I'm just going to show little bits because it does show quite a bit. So, but if you can see, and I don't know if you can see a little bit, but I wish that you could see last year's versus this year's. I wish I had the comparison, because you can see last year, see where it's red underneath my arms? Last year, like from underneath my arms all the way across my chest to my, like it was so red all the way across. All of my lymph nodes were full, even through my neck and everything else. So you can see the difference of how much better it is now. And do you know what I did? Is I stopped using deodorant all the time. I started using a more natural deodorant, Crystal. And just in doing that, that changed so much for me.
Also, you're stressed, JoJo.
My stress. Be stressed.
Yeah, your stress level. I mean, redoing a house, our stress level actually shows in our breast. So that's why fibrocystic tissue. Women with dense breasts should probably never have a mammogram, because you're going to have false positives. Women with implants should not have breast mammography, because it's. Have you ladies has anybody had a mammogram? Or are you all too young? Yeah, you have. Okay. Did anyone enjoy it? I promise you, whether you come to me or someone else, you'll enjoy it. It's a very pleasant experience, and more importantly, you get to look at the pictures with whoever it is that scans you, and they go over it, so you can leave with peace of mind.
So let's chat a little bit about, we know that in other countries, and some of the things that we're hearing from scientists, researchers, and doctors now is how dangerous compression can be. Now in the United States, I know that they still believe that mammograms and compression are the gold standard, but in other countries, such as Europe, they no longer compress, right?
Right. Right.
And so do you guys all know what that means by compression when we say that? So if you've never had a mammogram, when they actually test you, they put your breast inside the machine and they squish it. So that is compression.
Mm-hmm. And if you know what the inside of a breast looks like, just imagine an orange. That is actually what a breast looks like. So compressing it is not a good thing. But it's choice. It is everybody's choice.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there are a lot of good that's come from mammogram, because women don't know about thermograms. But the beauty is that a thermogram you can have over and over and over and over again. Many women that come to me that actually have been diagnosed with breast cancer, we're watching it progressively leave their body. And guess how? Nutrition. It's always the answer. Nutrition is the answer. And that's beautiful. They can come weekly, and some of them do come weekly. I just scanned a woman today that she comes to me once a month, and we just check to see how it's going.
So, am I unmuted? Yes, I am. So can you talk a little bit about what they're finding about what compression? Now, we never, ever, ever want to say, don't go have a mammogram. That is totally not what we're saying.
No.
We want to give you options on the other side, because I do know that there's some people that have started to question the radiation, have started to question the compression. And so we just really want to give you another option. I know many women who their cancers were found by a mammogram. They consider that that's what helped them catch it early enough to save their life. So we never want to say don't do that. But what we want to do is just give you the other side of it and give you other food for thought. And so talk about a little bit, if you can, in Europe, why they've stopped compressing.
Well, there's so many, most of the studies of mammograms are actually out of Europe. And what they have found was that there was actual no benefit to mammograms, because by the time that they found the cancer, it's years after. And what they've also found is that repeated mammograms are just increasing your risk of developing cancer. So let's just look at this. Radiation is proven to cause cancer. And every time you get a mammogram, you're getting 1,000 times more radiation than a chest x-ray. So if you go in for a mammogram and they say, oh, I didn't get the picture correctly, and they take another one, and they take another one, and I don't know how many of you on the call that this has happened to, but I hear this on a daily basis, and then they have you come back for more, and then they want you to do a biopsy, and then the biopsy shows nothing, or they'll say it's ductal carcinoma stage 0, and which is nothing. It's nothing. That's completely reversible. And they've also found that many of the cancers that mammograms have found would never have proven to be anything. The body would have absorbed and the immune system would have taken care of it. So I know Sweden has completely banned them, and one by one they're just they're looking at the possibility of the risk over what the benefit is.
Thank you for sharing that. I know that in having conversations with some of the nutritional people in our space, and then also listening to Dr. Ruggiero talk. And so I have a recording of him, which I can find and post up somewhere, that actually talks about compression being something that they're finding to be dangerous potentially, because if you have an encapsulated cancer, because some are encapsulated, and then you compress, you can break that encapsulation to where now it will spread, or it will not be so contained, right?
Correct. Well, that's correct. And then, of course, and then the other side of that is the biopsy is the same thing. If you have cancer and they're going in with a needle, as they're pulling that needle out, is there cancer on it that's now going through the breast or wherever it is that they're having that biopsy done. So it's kind of one half a dozen of the other when it comes to mammograms, because there's no real truth. And I think we know as humans what truth is. When you go in someplace and there's discomfort, like some tests are very uncomfortable, you have to kind of wonder about that, especially the risk. So yes, the compression is terrible. The radiation is even worse.
So could you share with us, and I know that you've seen people in all levels of health and sickness, and so when you're looking at a thermal scan and you see someone who has potential pathology, what do you see? All kinds of red, purples, like what is it that you see?
Well, cancer, let's talk about cancer.
Okay.
Cancer needs blood. So and it's kind of tricky, because fibrocystic tissue and cancer kind of looks the same. And I'm not a doctor. I do not do the readings. And so, whoops, there's my guy, my dog. So I forgot what I was saying.
You were talking about colors, yeah.
As far as being a doctor, I'm not a doctor, but on these scans, they're all in color. The doctor doesn't read them in color, by the way. He reads them like it was radiology, just like it was, an X-ray. But these doctors actually are trained in thermography. So he reads, yeah, these doctors are they're medical doctors trained in reading thermal scans. It's very different science. And I don't even know how to explain it. Go look for it on Google. I wish I would have shown you. I mean, it takes 8 to 10 years for a lump to be big enough to even show up in a mammogram. So I have looked at cancers that are so small, but because it's inflammation, it lights up. So that's how, as I said, can I tell the difference? I'm going to say no, because I'm not a medical doctor. But you definitely can see. And what it looked like is red coming out and reattaching. This is your lymphatic system under your arms, here, under here. So if this is coming into the breast, and then you see something in the breast, that would be worrisome. You don't want to see that. You want to keep your armpits clean. Now, what you said about your lymph, there's also ways you can brush your lymph with a dry brush. You don't really want to be red underneath your armpits. You don't want to be red right in here, because this is lymph, and you want to keep that clean. So looking at cancer, you're looking at really the whole picture. What you're creating with thermography is a thumbprint, a fingerprint, a whole body print, so that you can follow it year to year to year, just like we do yours. We can see what you look like last year compared to what you look like this year, and it looks like your health is going to the next level. It's raising. We can also see the opposite. So cancer is very distinctive. It's very, very distinctive. And yes, it's red.
And that's interesting that you bring up the dry brushing. I forgot to talk about that, because I do actually dry brush. So if anybody doesn't know what that is, then I'm going to recommend that you go Google dry brushing, get a brush for yourself, and do it on a regular basis. And not only is it good for your lymph, but it's also good for your skin. It's good for cellulite. It's good for all kinds of things. So get a dry brush. But so I know that we could go on and talk about this topic in all different directions. But we just wanted to give you an overview of really another option, and go try it for yourself. It's not harmful. It's not going to hurt. And in town, so if you're in Las Vegas, then you have Cheri-Lynn that you can contact. And if not, then I know there's a website or something that you can direct everybody to.
I could actually send that to you. And if you go into locations, the reason I suggest this website is because they use a Metatherm camera. Metatherm is it's a medical grade camera, and it's calibrated for the human body. Because remember, thermography is also for walls, to find electricity and little fires, right? You don't want that kind of camera taking pictures of your body, because the spectrum is going to be too broad. So I'll send you the site, and you can find. This is really the only state that's I'm it. I'm sure there'll be more and more, but for right now, I am it.
And we're happy to have you here. But we'll help you find somebody in your area if you would like to go check it out. And we have time for one question if anybody wants to unmute and ask a question. I know specifically, I don't know, but the idea of the cost, is it covered by insurance?
Oh, I was going to mention that.
Okay.
Well, this is, it is insurance coded, so it does have a code, and I give everyone paperwork. Yes, some insurance companies are paying. Sierra Health is paying, and I think that's here in town.
Oh, well, then I better submit mine because I never did.
And I'm just getting feedback from women who are telling me. And so definitely, I think Blue Cross Blue Shield is paying, they're paying a portion, but it is coded. So this isn't some woo-woo out there science. This is actual science.
So what does it cost like to go, because I know if you do a full body scan, it's a different cost than if you just do breast. But so if you have a cost here, and it may be different in another state, but for here, can you give an idea of the cost?
My breast scan is $199, and upper body, which is a wonderful way to start as well, is $299, and a full body is $399.
Okay, perfect. And so is there codes for all three of those? So if you were going to do a full body, no, just breast, right?
It's breast, but at this point, eventually, my vision is eventually 25, 30 years from now, every doctor's office will have a thermal camera. Just quickly remember when the SARS virus was going on and they had those cameras in the airport, and the people would walk by, and if their brain lit up, they couldn't get up. That was a thermography camera. That's the same camera that I use.
So, okay, so explain a little bit. So I come in and you scan me, and then you take that scan and you send the scan to the doctor.
I take you give me your history. I put everything into paperwork online. Everything is digital. I send it to, it's a worldwide clinic, a digital worldwide clinic of doctors. Someone takes that scan, interprets it, sends it back to me with the pictures, and I send everything to you. All follow-up scans are read by the same doctor, so you'll always have that doctor reading your scan.
I didn't realize that. That's cool.
Yeah, it is.
So I hope that helps answer. I was just reading off some questions that were posted up in the thread. So, so Jeanette, I hope that helps answer that question. And so then, and I do. So now I have an email. She sends me an email. I have an email of my scan, so I can share that with my personal doctor. And I also have the report that the doctor sent with my results of what they see. So it's pretty cool. And I feel good about it. And even though my doctor tells me every single year, that this is not the gold standard, and I say yes, she backs up the fact that this is what I'm choosing to do for myself. And, she already knows that I don't take prescriptions, and there's lots of things that I don't do, and she supports me in all of that. So it's good to have a doctor that does that and backs me up. Yes. And so we have time for like one small question. Like one small question. We have 1 minute.
Small question.
And if everybody feels good, I hope that this was helpful in some small way. And if you guys want to reach out, or you want to post up in the group, you can post up in the event, and I'll see the questions, and we'll be able to respond. And if we could have this conversation about genes and preventative, and there's so many things that we can talk about when it comes to breast cancer and breast health. And but tonight I think that this is just really helpful to have the information of having another option. So we appreciate you and all of your wisdom and knowledge, and thank you so much. And so she said she was spending some time with her breast friends tonight. So thank you, all of our breast friends, for hanging out with us. And we are at the top of the hour. So everybody, blow Cheri-Lynn a big kiss.
Thank you so much for letting me share.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. We appreciate you. Bye, everybody. See you next week. Thanks for being on.